I stared down the range at the target with my hands shaking, because if this arrow didn't hit a bullseye, my cousin was getting his face kicked in. Billy had cornered us behind the archery shed with his entire gang around him, and the counselors were across the field setting up dinner tables. Eric stood behind me with the word "piggy" still drying in black Sharpie across his forehead. Billy stepped up grinning and put his arm on my shoulder. I win every medal at this camp every year. I shoved his arm off. If you hit a bullseye, you leave Eric alone for the rest of camp. If I hit one, you do whatever you want. Billy laughed and grabbed a bow off the rack. Deal. He pulled back the string smooth like he'd done it 1,000 times and let the arrow fly. It landed an inch outside the bullseye, and his gang erupted behind him. Billy turned to me with that same grin and held the bow out. Your turn, tough guy. I took the bow with my hands, sweating so bad I could barely grip it, lined up the arrow, and started pulling back the string. That's when one of Billy's friends drove his foot into my ribs from the side. I hit the dirt hard, and the bow flew out of my hands. Billy picked it up, walked over to Eric, and shoved the bow into his chest. Change of plans. If Eric wants to be left alone, Eric takes the shot. Eric raised the bow with both arms shaking so hard the arrow was bouncing up and down. Billy laughed from a few feet away. Just let it go, piggy. We're all waiting. Eric closed his eyes and let go. The arrow hit the target with a thud that everyone heard. Bullseye. The whole crowd went silent for a second and then exploded. Even some of Billy's own friends were yelling. Billy's grin dropped off his face. He marched straight at Eric and shoved him backward into the mud patch behind the targets. Stay in the mud where you belong, pig. Nobody cheered. A kid in the back of the crowd said, Dude, he beat you. Billy whipped around. Shut up. Nobody asked you. But the rest of the campers were already pulling out their phones, and his own friends had stepped back from him. Billy backed away and tripped into the same mud patch. Eric pushed himself up, walked over, and picked the bow up off the ground. He looked down at Billy with the Sharpie on his forehead running down his face from the sweat. I think you look better in the mud.